And I'm so happy to be here today for our June Lending Hearts class, and we're going to make a lot of nice things today. And we're trying today is the focus is trying to have some light meals for the summertime. So we have a nice fish taco. We have some grilled shrimp skewers. We're going to make a beautiful salad, which I'm really excited to share with you. We're going to it's going to be peaches and burrata, which is going to be really nice. And then we're also going to do a fish taco with a mango slaw. And so many funny things to tell you about this today. So many ingredients didn't turn out the way we wanted them to. So we're going to make a lot of substitutions today, but the original recipes will be on the website. So really excited to do that with you as well. So let's get started. We're going to first do our pizza, which is and another thing too, for the ease of our class, we are going to put a lot of these into the oven. These recipes are really all designed for the grill. So stay tuned. Next month, we are going to do a special grilling safety and how to grill in the summertime. So you could look forward to that. So all of these recipes though can be done. We're going to do them inside, but certainly the grill is going to give you a nicer product, get you those nice little brown evenly, get nice grill marks. Plus you won't be heating up your kitchen in the middle of summer. So let's get started. As always, we have a lot to do. The first thing we're going to do is get that pizza in the oven though. And there's a few things about this pizza. It is a wild mushroom and arugula pizza. So we're going to get that started. We're just going to make a personal size one. The recipe on the website is going to be the full recipe for a full size pizza. So let me get my prep for that and we could start talking. The other thing that I wanted to mention with this pizza is that we are going to put the mushrooms on there. We're going to saute them first. Some of the mushrooms are going to go in the oven with the pizza. Some are going to put on afterwards when the pizza comes out. So I'm just going to start sauteing those real lightly. I just have about 2 to 3 cups of mushrooms. You could use whatever kind you wanted. I wanted to do the exotic blend for our class today. You could use whatever's available to you. Today, we are going to be using a Baby Bella. I like using something that's going to hold its shape like this. And I left it in larger slices. Sometimes you may want to make it very small and chop it up along with onions and caramelize them and put them on the pizza too. That will work out really well. But for today's pizza, I thought we're just going to leave them in some nice big slices. So let's get that started. And we will roll out our pizza dough. So just set our stone aside. So I'm just going to work on my surface here. I'll show you. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my countertop. And I typically, what I do with my countertop, so I typically like to wipe it down with some white vinegar. That seems to be a really good way to disinfect it. And we made some dough this morning and I have left it out at room temperature. So I'll just unwrap that for you. And you may want to get a little flour on your hands as well when you're holding this. And we have on the website from an older version, we have several recipes of pizza dough. You could use any of those. We had if you remember, we did a cauliflower crust. We did a 2-ingredient crust from yogurt and self-rising flour, and we did a whole wheat crust. All of those will work. So get just a little bit more flour here. And don't worry, if you are not good at working the pizza dough, you could always, and that's why I have my rolling pin here, and I'll show you how we could roll it out. And I'm not going to, I just have a smaller pan today, so I'll show you what we're going to do here. A little bit more on here. And don't, like I said, don't worry if you're not throwing this in the air or doing anything crazy. The point is just to work the dough. And I hear our mushrooms are sizzling along nicely. Give it a little stir. Yeah, turn this over. And it depends. If you like a thinner crust pizza, you could always make adjustments. You could roll it out thinner. You could make 2 pieces out of this. But I typically, depends the size of the pan I'm using. And I have my pan right here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the perfect circle. I do like to put a little olive oil on it before just to get it nice and crispy there. And you do want to make time if you don't want to make your own pizza dough. It is worth it wherever you buy your pizza dough to make sure it's fresh, to use it within a short amount of time. You don't want it, if you don't think you're going to use it in 1 day or 2 days, you should probably throw it in the freezer. And then whenever you're ready to use it, you can defrost it. You could just take it out in the morning and defrost. So there we go. We have our nice little pizza here. And we're going to we're going to brush it with a little bit of olive oil. Okay. And we're going to put a little bit of garlic on here. I have some sliced garlic. And you want to slice it very, very thin. So no big chunks here. We don't want to bite into anything like that. We just want to get some flavor. All right. And then we're going to put our cheese on. And we are going to add a little bit more oil here. And mushrooms. Give them a stir. And they look good. They have that nice smoky flavor. Just going to probably put we'll put half on now, and we'll put the other half on when it comes out. Okay. Okay. I have about half of them on, that's fine. And we're going to put a little salt and pepper on here as well. Okay, and then we're going to get this in the oven. You want a nice hot oven. We have ours on 500 today, and that's going to be probably about 15 minutes. So let's get that in there. And you always want to have it on the lowest rack. You always want to have it the lowest, just like a pie. You always want to put your pizza pie on the lowest rack in your oven. So we want to get that bottom nice and crispy. I have my mushrooms on here. Let's move on to our next item here. Okay, just want to make sure we have the right setting and everything is good. Okay, so our next item is a grilled shrimp. So let's get all of our prep out for that. Get our cutting board over here. And let me just put a timer on so we don't forget about our pizza. All right, so our next item is going to be our shrimp. And what we're going to do is I have our shrimp here and I'll adjust the camera so you could see it. Right here, I have about 1.5 to 2 pounds of shrimp. It's peeled, it's deveined, it's ready to go. I did buy this frozen, so I'm just going to make sure you see, let me adjust this so you could see here. I have it in a colander just to get all the liquid out, because remember, we don't want to steam it. We want to cook it and get it nice and crisp. If there is, oh, look how much liquid I'm getting out of here. If there's a lot of liquid in here, it's going to steam your shrimp and not, it's going to cook it with a lot of liquid and it's not going to get crispy like we want. And this goes whether you're using it on the grill or in the oven. You always want to get all that liquid out of here. So paper towel will work. You could put it on a paper towel flat before you begin working with. I just see one little shell in there. So anyhow, I'm going to set this aside. So what I like about this recipe, and I still have my colander here. What I like about this recipe is we're going to use some of our old-fashioned tools, some tricks of the trade. I'm going to wipe off that shrimp, get that off my hands real quick. Okay, so let's start with some of our old-fashioned tools here. Let me get my prep. We're going to use a mortar and pestle. And if you've never seen one, they come in, you could buy them in marble. You could, they come in wood. I have several ones that are nice, like they're made from wood like this. I like to do my guacamole in here. Sometimes you could do guacamole in a food processor. You could just mash it with a fork. But if you use the mortar and pestle, it'll come real nice for you. This is the mortar, this is the pestle. So sometimes I get those ones confused, but that is how it goes. We're going to use some fresh basil. So I have just picked some basil this morning. And we're going to put some lime in here, and then we're going to add the rest of, and we have some lemon juice too, and some of our other herbs, some oregano, which is right here. Let me grab this. We're going to put this all together. So I'm going to do a little bit of what I call the chiffonade, and I'm going to put this on I'm going to save some of this basil for our salad too, and our pizza when it comes out. So a chiffonade, if you don't remember from our previous classes, and you want to get rid of this stem, nobody wants to bite into this hard stem here. And just get the leaves. One more there. Okay. So a chiffonade is just a ribbon-like cut. And we're just going to fold it. And the other thing, sometimes I like to freeze my herbs. If I freeze it, I do chop it real fine. See, so now we get these little ribbons. So we'll save some for our pizza when it comes out. So see, we have these nice little ribbons here. So we're going to put half of this in our bowl here, the mortar. Okay, and we're going to add some oregano and some pepper. And we're going to add some garlic. And I have about 2 cloves of garlic here that I sliced pretty thin. And some kosher salt. And I think we've done it on some of our classes. It's a great way salt really allows you to really open up that garlic. And then we're also going to do some lemon zest. So let me show you here. I started before class and I'm going to put some of the zest in there. So here's 2 things that I want to show you. This edge right here is our zester. So you could get some of the zest there. And I want to show you my other one. So the other one not only has this to cut this here, to cut and get your zest, but it also has these holes on the end that actually allows you to get the oils or the zest or the essence of the lemon. So what we're going to do is we press down on it, and I don't know if you could see that. It's going to hold it against my apron. Maybe you could see this liquid coming off. You see all that oil? That is really That's what we want. And to put that on your salad or your arugula makes it very nice. Okay, let me just see all of that coming right out of there. So we've got a lot in here today. Okay, and we're also going to just grind this together. Make a little paste. And like I said, the salt is probably, you could throw in a variety of herbs here. The salt is what really helps these get together. And then we're going to add some oil to it as well and make a little paste. Let me just, yeah, so you could see there. That's coming along nicely. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to that. Get it all together. And this is really going to make, you could do this with dipping oils. If you want to do sun-dried tomato and garlic and some fresh herbs, you could always put them in your mortar and grind them up with the pestle and then add some oil. And then we're getting out all that flavor. And this is a great tool. Like I said, I like to use it when I'm mashing an avocado. I like to use it when I'm muddling mint for a drink or a recipe. There's just a lot of uses. And I should have done some research. This has probably been around for thousands of years. One of probably a very, used to make medicines, used to grind herbs, used to make flour from seeds. Many, many uses to get the oil or what we're doing out of the plant. So just keep working it. It's something, you could even make your pesto in here too. With you could do that with your garlic, then your pine nuts and cheese and basil, and then add some oil. That would actually make a really nice, but it's just a wonderful consistency. So I'm really happy with this. And it's just working it. You're just going to use a rocking motion and just get some of that goodness on the bottom and just keep working it. And then you could even, you could stir as well. Whatever you feel like doing there. So anyhow, we're going to set that aside and we're just going to cure some shrimp. And we have a nice stoneware pan and I've lined it with some parchment. So we're just going to take some skewers. If you were going to use a wooden skewer, you would want to make sure that you soaked them in water. I'm going to use a metal skewer today for class. And I'm just going to take some of our shrimp and I'm just going to thread them on there. Just like that. Probably you could do it however you want, depending on the size. These ones, I used a little bit of a smaller one so they cook quickly for us. And I'm going to get out just a little bit more moisture out of this. I feel like there's still a little bit in here. Yeah. Maybe I'll just pat them dry when we're done here. So we're just going to thread. It's nice if you're having some type of function or event, if you want to make small skewers. We could also alternate this with, tomatoes or vegetable, or sometimes I like to do all of my shrimp on one, just in case you have anybody with allergies or doesn't care for something, do all my vegetables on another one in case anybody wants a vegetarian skewer, we could keep that. And like I said, you could always just mix it up there, but it just makes it nice. So we're going to set this on here just like that. And we're going to get another skewer. And keep going here. And shrimp they do contain cholesterol, but they're extremely low in fat. That's a question that I get all the time in practice. If I have an elevated cholesterol level, I should probably avoid shrimp. Well, actually, it's that saturated fat that raises the cholesterol, even more so than the dietary cholesterol. So actually shrimp is a very good low fat, high protein food and very low calorie. So you could eat you could get a nicer, we're always, if you are looking to, you are trying to manage your weight, you could eat a large volume of these for very little calories. So you are getting a lot. And if you are trying to gain weight, I mean, they're just an excellent source of protein. So either way, they're good for all diets. I like to get the wild Gulf shrimp. They seem to have a nice mild flavor. It's probably one of my favorites. They're reasonable. You could get them wild, and they aren't cost prohibitive either. And it makes a really nice addition to your summer barbecues, because you could just put them on and they'll hold well. And it doesn't take long to cook them too, so they're not going to be on your grill long. And I'm just going to get out that extra moisture. Okay, and we'll put them on. And one more here we have. So, and like I was just saying, we should probably let them off a little bit more. I have them in my colander, but there's not a lot of small holes in the bottom of this one. So it still has it's holding a little bit of liquid in the bottom of the colander itself. So it's probably just worth another blotting off just to get them out of there. If you have fresh shrimp available to you, you wouldn't have this problem. It's just whenever we go to defrost. Sometimes it's hard to buy that fresh on the daily. So if you had to use frozen, it's just something that you have to deal with. But it's good to know that the frozen product is just as delicious. It just takes a little bit more time. And it's all about the planning. Right. So if we take the time to plan them, we will always have this ready. Okay, so there we have our shrimp. And I'm going to get out our little pastry brush here. Just turned off the mushrooms. I'm not seeing what I'm looking at. There we go. So we're going to take some of our mixture here, and we're going to put it aside in another bowl, just because we don't want to contaminate this, because we are going to add a little bit more lime juice to this when it comes out. We just did lemon, but we're going to add some lime juice to this goodness when it comes out. So let's just get what we have here. Add a little bit more oil, and then we're going to go ahead and sprinkle a little. And our peppers right here. And then we'll just go like this. We're just gonna baste them. And if you remember, also the other thing that you want to remember about shrimp is there's not a lot of connective tissue in it. So it's nothing that you want to marinate for long periods of time, because it will it almost denatures the protein, and it cooks it, and it's going to be very tough, and it's going to change the texture a lot. So shrimp doesn't need to be, we're going to stick this right in the oven. If you wanted to marinate it to let it impart a little bit longer, I wouldn't recommend longer than 20 minutes. So let's give them a turn. Let's just grab a tiny bit more. Okay, and we are going to pop those in the oven. And these are smaller shrimp, so probably going to take about 10-15 minutes at the most. We'll probably turn them halfway through. And we should be able to check on our pizza now because it's been about 15 minutes. And our pizza looks fabulous. I'm just going to check the bottom. That's what we want to make sure that it's nice and evenly brown. So I'm just going to get a little look there. And it could stand a little bit more time. So I'm just going to stick it back in the oven. And for probably another 3 minutes or so on the bottom. So let's work on our next recipe while all of that is working. And that is our fish tacos. And that's going to be a very basic recipe. And we're going to use, I originally had cod slated for today, but could not get cod in the store yesterday. So I actually had some swordfish on hand. So we're going to use swordfish. Again, anything like that that's going to hold its shape is going to be real good. You don't want to do something too thin. So swordfish will work well. Tuna will work well. Shrimp will work well. Scallops. And even the cod would work well too if you cut it into cubes, but she wouldn't want something that flakes real easily or it's not going to hold its shape. So let me get that swordfish, and this is going to be really, really easy. We're just going to take, again, we're going to take a pan lined with parchment paper, and we're just going to add a small amount of oil to this just to coat our swordfish, give that a little toss in there. And we're just going to make a few today. Just to demonstrate. And okay. And we'll just salt and pepper those. And a little bit of salt. Okay. The real magic, we're just going to keep this simple. The real magic is all the stuff that we're going to put on here. So I'm going to put this in the oven, and this will probably be done the same time that our shrimp will be. Let's get that in there. And we'll check on our pizza again. It's just a little bit longer. It's done, but I just want it a little bit brown. So while that is cooking, let's get that arugula ready for what we're going to put on top. So when our pizza comes out, we're going to top it with the rest of those mushrooms and then some arugula that's been lightly dressed with some lemon and olive oil. And I don't know if you have tried arugula or if you like it, where, some people, it's the scientific name, roquette, also the European name, but it has a very peppery taste. Even if you just break a piece off, it really releases the aromatics and the oils that are in here. So it makes it a really, has a lot of bite. Sometimes you might want to add it to your lettuce mix, just to add some interest. You could also serve it on its own. It could really stand well on its own. It's nice to have it when it's very small like this. It will get larger. It will get to a very large leaf, but this baby, when it's this small, they refer to it as baby arugula, bursting with flavor, really elevates any dish. Anywhere that you would put lettuce, if you're making yourself a sandwich, if you were to add some arugula or a wrap or a salad, or I use it as a basis of when I'm making crab cakes or some kind of chicken burger. I like to put a bed of arugula first and serve the crab cake on there. That makes it really nice. But the important thing to note is how we're going to dress it. So let's do that now. So I'm just going to grab a little bowl here. And I have about 4 cups of loosely packed arugula. I don't know if we'll use it all since we have a smaller pizza. We'll just dress a little, most of it. We'll just reserve like 1 cup of it. And what we're going to do is just put a little bit of olive oil on it. Very simple. It really, you don't want to do too much. And this is how we did our microgreens too, if you remember. So we're just going to get a few wedges of our lemon. Sprinkle it on there. All right. So just make sure my seeds are out of here. Or if you could always put a piece of cheesecloth on it or a little lemon net. Sometimes I use my juicer, but I just used my juicer with my lime there. So let's just use some fresh. Just squeeze some. It doesn't take much. One wedge is really all it needed. So I really didn't want to juice the whole thing. Okay. And then we're just going to toss that around. Salt. Oh, regular. And just a little sprinkle of salt there. And then you really want to add the pepper. I know it's peppery, but this is just going to make it even better. And this is just so easy, and it's so so simple but delicious. And like I said, you could do this with microgreens as well, and you could have this pizza with microgreens. So let's take out our pizza. It should be very nice now. The top looks fantastic. And our bottom just needs a little bit more time, so we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so we can move on to our next dish. Actually, we'll work on what we need to for our tacos. So let me just clean my cutting board. Get a fresh cutting board here. Okay, so we're ready to start our next item. So this is what I was telling you about, the fish tacos. The big ingredient here is our slaw. So our other little mishap today was that our mango was overripe. So it really wasn't gonna hold up well. So I just made a substitution. And what I did was I thought, okay, instead of a mango, we'll just go with an orange. Something again, very soft that we could just add to here. Plus the red cabbage really is going to give a lot of flavor, plus our lime juice that we have in here too. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make a cut here. Look how beautiful this is. And again, so rich in antioxidants. And this is the anthocyanins. Remember cyanin blue. So we have a lot of that dark, rich purple color. We call it red cabbage, but it's really so purple in color, very deep. Probably one of, next to blueberries, one of the darker fruits and vegetables. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it one way here. And we're just going to and you could do this on a mandolin. You could do this in a food processor. And we just want to get this nice, fine little slaw. So we're just going to just go real thin here. Okay, just go here. Really nice. Okay, so it's just nice to have it nice and fine, as fine as you could get it. Okay, and then we're gonna put it in our little bowl here. First, let's make our dressing. So we're gonna push this aside and we're going to we're gonna have some, actually, let's just put it in here. We'll just toss it all together. So, and you could use, like I said, we're going to use the orange today. Any citrus fruit would really work nicely in here for our little slaw that we're going to put on. So we're going to add about one orange that we've peeled and sectioned and just diced fine. And we're going to add a little bit of cumin, a little bit of cayenne pepper. And we're just going to toss this all together. And we're also going to put in our jalapeno. So let me just get a little piece off of here, just for some added crunch. And let's check on our pizza. It needs another minute, just don't want it to have that burn. But we'll cut a little bit of our jalapeno here. And I like to cut it real thin. So first do some slices or some strips and then come back through and dice it. You don't want to bite into a large piece. You just want the flavor. You don't want to bite into a really big slice of it. So this is what's called our brunoise, which is our finest dice. You could see here it's probably a 32nd of an inch by 32nd. Very, very small. You see how nice that comes out. Okay, and then we're also going to add some fresh cilantro. It's already been chopped, put it on there. And then we're gonna toss this all. This is such a simple recipe. If you remember, this is we use this a lot in our other cabbage slaw that we make. And we're just going to toss that up. Get another. Just look how beautiful this looks. It looks beautiful when you use mango, but even this orange is just with this purple is just beautiful. Oops, little piece fell out here. Okay, we'll just toss that all together. We'll put that on our fish when it comes out. Check on our pizza. We'll finish that up and we have our last dish. So we have our slaw ready for our fish tacos. Our shrimp are in the oven. And even that shrimp would be really nice on a nice bed of, when that comes out, you can either put on a nice bed of quinoa, a nice bed of lettuce, a salad, anything like that. So I think we're going to take out our pizza once and for all. And now it's a lot evenly browned on the top. So look at that, how beautiful that looks. So let me move our cutting board here so we don't melt it. And I will give you a little peek at the bottom of that in 1 second. Oh, you see how nice it came off? So you could see, whoops, very hot. So I'll have to cut a piece for you and show you, but let's get it off of here and let's actually put it on our cutting board and give it a cut. And we're just going to go just like this at our board over here. And now we're going to go ahead and put some of our cheese on it. And our mushrooms. So let's put let's first do a little bit of cheese. We have our Romano. I used a Pecorino Romano. And then we're going to put some of our arugula on there. And we'll do some of our cheese next. Get our arugula back on there where it goes. And then we'll put our mushrooms on top. It's really, and then, yeah, that would even, I think I used them already in our other dish, but I'd probably sprinkle with a little bit of red pepper or anything like that. That would be really nice. So let's get a plate and we'll move this and we'll get on to our next dish. Just move that aside. Okay, so I'm going to check on our shrimp and our swordfish. And it's coming along. I'm just going to give both of them a turn. So both of these look really nice. We're just going to give them a turn. And you probably want to use something to turn them. Nice, our thing there. So they're getting nice. They're sizzling. Okay, and we'll get those back in the oven. Get them a little bit more brown. And let's check on our swordfish. And we'll give that a turn too, because that's browning really nicely. That's what I got the question last week. In a different class about, do you have to use parchment paper? What's the point of it? And it does brown real nicely. It does make for a nice cleanup. And if you noticed on the fish tacos, all of that nice marinated was still there. And did you also know, I should have pointed out to you. Let's get this back in here. But I should have pointed out to you. I'll show it to you when it comes out when I take it out the second time. But our shrimps on the skewer, the shrimp on the skewer rather, there wasn't a lot of liquid laying on top of that parchment. It was just a little bit of our marinade. So we know that we got all the water out and we're not steaming it. So that's good. We wouldn't want to pull that out and the whole bottom of the pan has a lot of liquid on it. So just something to keep in mind that we did a good job. So let's move this over here. I'm super excited about our last recipe. So as soon as those things are done, we will finish those. But right now, let me get our knife clean for us. Our last recipe is going to be a peach and burrata salad. So we have some real nice peaches. Hopefully you have them in your area as well. And what you can do, and what I'm going to probably try to get these in the oven a little bit. We'll just give them a cut. Let me show you. And we'll just stick these in the oven on a sheet pan with parchment. I'm just trying to, sometimes they're so ripe you could just give them a little turn. That is not our case today. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to give them a little cut here. And we're just going to, that sheet pan will be fine. We'll just put them on there. Again, this is something that could be done on the grill. Be really nice to get a warm peach on there. Plus you'll get a little bit of the grill marks and it'll give you a nice, it'll caramelize the sugar in the peach. Okay, got that one apart. Give me a little workout here with these peaches today. Let's reserve that one. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and put them on some parchment. And I am going to put just a little bit of olive oil on them. Just a small amount. And it's not going to be very long. We have that nice hot oven. Just a small little sprinkle. Toss them together. And we'll get the rest of our salad together. We'll make our dressing. Okay, now let's check on our shrimp. Our swordfish is done, so we could take care of that as well. Shrimp, I'm going to leave in there another minute. Okay, so let's assemble one of our little, one of our fish tacos here. So we have our, I always like to use a flour tortilla. They're nice and soft. I prefer the carb balanced ones, just because there's many different kinds. This is a whole grain, but it's a soft one, so it's still white, which is nice to use. And we're just going to spoon this on here. We're going to put our fish right along the side here. And then we're going to put our slaw right on top of that. Let's move our stuff here, and we're just going to put this right on top. So look how beautiful that looks. So there's our fish taco. Set that aside. And we'll finish. We could arrange our shrimp skewers, get those out of the oven, our garlic shrimp. They should be nice and done now. And then we will finish with our salad. Shrimp are good. They're cooked, but I'm just going to brown them a little bit longer while we make our salad. So we're going to put this on a bed of arugula, but let's first talk about, we're going to use some burrata today. You hear a lot about burrata. It's one of the stars right now, along with, what was one of the other things we did the other week? Not cauliflower rice. There was, quinoa has always been a star. Let's see, cottage cheese. That's really been in the news lately. All the different things to do with cottage cheese. So burrata is really nice. It's very similar to the mozzarella. It's made from buffalo milk typically, and you could feel when I even show you here. When you get it out of the container, the thing about burrata, it has this nice skin on the outside, but on the inside, it's real smooth and creamy. So it's a real nice contrast. Sometimes you might not want to open this. You could feel how squishy it is inside. It's almost buttery inside. So it makes a really nice treat. You could serve it room temperature, or you could serve it warmed up. So we're going to save it. We're just going to leave it in this nice little bowl. And we're going to whisk together our salad dressing. Okay, so we have our vinegar and oil. And we're also going to put in some shallots and some salt and pepper. And then I didn't get out our Dijon mustard and our honey because it's just such a small amount that we need. You don't need, I didn't want to get it all over the spoon. So we need about 1/4 teaspoon of each. So we'll just do that. Honey, we're going to do about 1 teaspoon. Sometimes when you put the honey into another dish, you really lose a lot. So we'll just go like that. So it all goes in there. We don't want to waste any of this. Okay. And then we're going to mix that all together. Give it a nice whisk. And I encourage you, you might not think it's necessary to add the shallots, but they add so much flavor to your salad dressing. And so does the Dijon mustard. That's what makes it a vinaigrette, a classic vinaigrette, is that addition of the mustard to make the emulsification. So we'll just set that aside. And then we will get our arugula out. Use a lot of arugula today. So we have our arugula and we'll just spread that out. And then we're going to add some nice fresh blackberries. I have about 1.5 cups. And that just is going to go so well with our peaches. And let's get our peaches out of the oven while we talk about those. And then we'll put our burrata on at the end. So just enough in the oven, just to get them nice and tender. And they were already fresh, but just to add them. And you could also put them on the grill if you wanted to get a little extra. Just set that aside and let's see, here it is. Come flying off. Okay. And that the reason I'm doing that too, the reason why you want to do that with your peaches too, is you want them to be nice and warm. And then when that burrata gets next to the warmth, it's really going to make that nice. So we're going to put our burrata right in the middle. See how that cream is starting to come out. And then we're going to add our little bit of crunch here. We'll add some chopped almonds and a little bit of chives. So we've got a really lot going on here. It looks really nice. And then we'll put our dressing on. And we'll just drizzle that right on here. Bring it all together. And that's going to be delicious. I can't even, I wish you were here to try this with me, because that is just gorgeous. And it smells wonderful, and it has all these wonderful scents going on. So I'm just going to set this aside, and we will take out our shrimp. And hopefully we are still good on time. So let's put that out. We always like to have a lot of I always try to make as many recipes as possible while we're together. And then if you have questions, you could always email them in. So I do go very fast, but all of it is, oh my goodness, I put a hole in my mitt. I do go very fast, but I just want to show you as much as possible. If you need to reach out to me, that's always an option. Everything's on the website. Try to put some pictures on there too, so in case you don't remember, but it's a really great way to refer back to them. Oh, our shrimp looks amazing. So good. I'm so glad, because this is going to be a really great. You see how we just have the oil that's on there. It's not, we don't have an inch thick of water. So, and our shrimp got nice and crisp and nice, like a little bit of brown. Again, this would be excellent on the grill. I had our oven about 350, so it took a little bit longer. On your grill, it's probably going to be, and these are very small shrimp, it's probably going to be 2 to 3 minutes max on each side if you have a very hot grill. If you are doing on the grill, and I encourage you to tune into our next class when we talk about grilling at length, you're going to want to make sure that that the grill has been seasoned and you've wiped it down with a oil that has a higher smoke point, just to prevent any sticking, because that'll really make a difference in your final product. So let me get out a plate here for serving. And get a nice colorful one for us. And we'll just plate these. And like I said, this could go on a bed of arugula. This could go on a bed of quinoa. It could just go on its own. These would look beautiful on a platter. I could just see if we had a lot of them fanned out. That would be beautiful. But you could see we have all of our herbs and spices on here still looking really good. So let's get everything. We'll put everything back in front of the camera so we can review. Let me just set this behind us. We have our warm peach burrata salad. We have our fish tacos with our swordfish. We have our arugula and wild mushroom pizza. And let me move over. I've got a little bit of a mess going on over here. And our final is our grilled shrimp. So everything looks really nice. Nice and colorful and nice and light. And that was the purpose for today's class. I know pizza could be a little bit heavier dish, but so we didn't put on a lot of cheese, and we did put a lot of the green on there. So we have everything here for display, and that shrimp is nice and grilled nice and light. We have the instead of doing a heavy mayonnaise type base slaw on this, you typically see fish tacos with just something very light, some type of citrus vinaigrette. And our burrata, of course, just, I can't even say enough about that. This is just, this looks amazing. I can't wait to dig into this after class. All of these recipes, again, these could all be done. They were meant to be done outside, so you're not heating your kitchen. Again, you could put your pizza on there too. This pizza stone can also go out there on the grill. So homemade, again, don't forget that the other recipes for pizza dough were on one of our earlier classes. Several recipes on there in case you're gluten-free, you want to have more wheat, or you're didn't have, if you were pressed for time and you wanted a higher protein crust. Remember that 2-ingredient pizza dough with Greek yogurt and self-rising flour. But again, all of these are nice and it could fit nicely into your summer celebrations. And I wanted to have something that would be, I always try to encourage you, be the one to bring the healthy dish to the party, or be the hostess or the host that provides a variety. So to have some, to have some vegetarian meals, to have some fish options, to certainly have something for every guest. So everybody's welcome, but just a nice to remember while we're trying to eat those 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day, that there's always opportunities. So when you have that fish, we added the cabbage and the oranges to it. So getting 2 servings on our fish taco. Burrata salad, of course, we have arugula, blackberries, peaches, all of that goodness. So, several servings there. We took pizza. And since we don't have tomato sauce, which you can or can try to make, yeah, that is a serving of vegetables, right? Because it's a very rich source of lycopene too. But just to put this fresh arugula on here, and we have the mushrooms, and we have some of them that I'm glad we did that too, because you have the mushrooms that are on when you're cooking, it certainly changes them. But then the ones that we have on our topping, they've maintained their shape, and they're going to be a little bit firm to the bite, which is really nice. So at least a serving of vegetables on there. And then we have, of course, the shrimp. We did put some nice stuff on that, with the lemon zest and the lime and some of our spices. But yes, so just I hope you enjoy these. Again, everything will be listed there. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. I hope you have a happy and healthy summer, and you take advantage of all of the fruits and vegetables that are available to you this summer. That's when they have their peak nutrition. That's when their peak freshness, and that's when they're most cost effective too. If you could check out your local farmers markets, they still will have some arugula. It's more popular, or it's more readily available in the spring in our area, when it's a little bit colder, but it will still grow as long as it's been protected out of that hot sun that we've been having. Also, you'll see the blackberries, middle of June, end of June. You could see all those berries in season, especially, and also with peaches, oranges. Didn't want to use the orange today. We should have used the mango, but again, a great substitute. And we happen to get a really good, juicy, flavorful one. And then, of course, we have the other things that we had into too, red cabbage. You could get that year round. Sometimes we put that in our winter salad. So I encourage you to try all these, make substitutions as you see fit to your own dietary needs. If you need help modifying anything, let me know. The calories and the nutritional information and the photographs will all be on the website. Hope you can try them and you'll stay on the path to wellness. Have a fantastic day and a great summer.